Welcome to the Personalities in the Workplace podcast. Each week, Timogi and I are introducing you to an easy-to-understand conversation about personality types. Listen, navigating the different personalities in your business can be a tedious task, and we get it. But we believe that once you understand what drives and stresses those you work with, you can better interact and steer those same people toward productivity and success. In order to help today, we're focusing on our 12th personality type, the ESTP, who we call the developer. As we get started here, I'm going to take a very quick moment to do a little shout out to Sage Garden Care Center, who is sponsoring this episode of Personalities in the Workplace. We would love to work with you. Go check out what we offer and how we can help on our website, www.sagegardencare.org. All right, let's jump into our podcast.
Timogi, the empowerment specialist here, and you know who my guest is, don't you? Say hi, Chuck.
It's me. Hi.
Chuck, I'm enjoying this Myers-Briggs personality podcast, and today we go into this energetic problem solver called the ESTP.
Yes, the developer. I like this one. So the ESTP is a great asset in the workplace because they are fact-oriented. They really like the details. They love people. They're able to be logical and objective, but they're not so tied to an outcome or a way of doing things. They have enough flexibility that they can really look around at a situation in a pretty interesting way. They're a very fascinating contributor to the workplace environment. They're folks that want to get things done, but understand that it can be done in different ways, but they still look at it objectively with the facts.
Wow. So what I heard is that they like the facts, but they are able from the facts to give you some creative ways to act upon those facts.
Absolutely. And they're even willing to listen to the people around them well. So where an ESTJ or an ISTJ may look at the data and the facts and they may say, okay, here's what we need to do, or here's what this is saying, the ESTP is willing to take a look back and ask more questions and say what needs to be done. So we've used the icon of the developer because the developer looks at a plot of land, and instead of saying, here's what needs to be done with it, oftentimes they're the ones who will walk around a plot of land and say, what could we do here? What could we do here? And they really explore out the options, talking to people and finding out what the possibilities are before they land on a decision.
I think that this personality type, the ESTP, would be maybe a good personal decorator, perhaps.
They might be. I hadn't thought about that.
They can come into an empty room and probably take a look and say, we need a love seat here. We need a chase lounger here and this size table, or even rearrange your existing furniture.
That's right. And one of the things that you're speaking to there is the sensing side of an ESTP, which is really honed in, is going to be able to look at something and say, okay, aesthetically and tangibly, what do we want the flow to be? What do we want this to look like? What kind of feeling do we want people to have when they come walking in the room? And they're able to kind of shift that around in multiple different ways to say, okay, what works best for this person, for their desires, for their home experience, the guests they have in their home, et cetera, et cetera. Absolutely, it's a great example.
I like it. So they're not limited just to the functionality of a thing.
Right.
So they also want to understand the client experience is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, I think so. So they're going to be a little bit different than the ENTP, which is kind of their counterpart. So the intuitive is always looking for the possibilities. The ESTP stays in the facts. They stay with what's going on right in front of them at the moment. So they're willing to change it up based on what they see, the tactile function, the experiences of the moment, not necessarily dreaming about what could be, but what can we experience right now.
Wow. So as I look at the card that you've developed, their strengths are they are adaptable. Mm-hmm. And so therefore they live in the moment, right?
Right. Well, they are. And that adaptability allows them to be able to change based on what's going on right now. So a new information comes in, change happens, they adjust, they flex to that.
Wow. So when I think about this ESTP personality, the developer, if I have an organization and we're maybe starting a new division, right? This might be a great team leader.
Absolutely. So great with people, great with the information that's coming in on how to deal with it. But there's a few words here that I would really want to hone in on that I think are great. Negotiation skills, imaginative, and problem solver. They look at these situations and go, here's what the issue is, here's how we need to fix it, here's what needs to be done in order to adjust to it. They bring people to the table and want to ask, what is your perspective? What's your issue? What's your concern? I'm thinking of a guy right now that I worked with in a workplace, again in manufacturing, and he is an ESTP, and he always did a superior job of bringing people to the table and saying, okay, what do you want? 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 He'd take all of that into case and he'd go back, find a solution and bring it back to everybody. And they'd be amazed at how great he was at finding a solution that seemed to really fit what it was that everybody wanted. He synthesized that well.
And so what about those of us who think there's just no way I can't make, 2 people happy, let alone 4 or 5, and that's impossible. But what I read here is that they're also very influential.
Very. We want to take a brief moment here to tell you about Sage Garden Care Center and why we've made this podcast available to you. Every business can optimize productivity by educating their leaders, managers, and employees of their blind spots and pain points. We provide the knowledge and the tools to help you engage your employees to best contribute to the organization's success. We help you leverage their strengths so that you can trust they're helping your organization flourish. As an optimization coach, I help companies nationally and internationally unify their teams, effectively engage conflict, communicate well, and bolster their aptitude for success. Whether you work with a company, a church, an NGO or nonprofit, an education center, or anything else, we have trainings that will help your team. Learn more at sagegardencare.org and look for Chuck's coaching under the Services tab. Schedule your free consultation appointment today, and we will discuss a plan that fits your budget, your needs, and your goals. All right, let's jump back into our conversation.
So if they have to make a decision that may not meet what that employee expected, they are able to make their case, and because they're an influencer, they're able to say, this is why we have to do it this way, and I believe that other people won't be as offended.
Well, and I'd even take it to a different level, because confidence is the word that is here as well. And when this personality walks into the room, so they walk in with a certain sense of authority, right? And confidence of here's what we're going to do and here's what it's going to look like. By the time they get done telling you what the solution needs to be, you're going, yeah, that is a good solution. That does sound good. Maybe we should go with that one. And so they can begin to dispel your concerns and to really rally you around to the point, because they've thought about it, they've investigated it, they know the details, they know the facts, they know the information, and you're confident that they have everything they need to be able to make it work.
So their confidence actually helps other people feel confident in change.
Yes.
In growth, and those things that need to happen for our businesses to evolve.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So let's look at their stressors just a little bit, Chuck. And you have listed here that their stressors are excessive planning and routines.
Yes. So anytime you see the P show up in a code for somebody's personality type, just know that they place a high premium on adaptability and flexibility, right? So if there is all this planning about what needs to be done, one of the issues that they can have is, I still want to take action. I still want to move. I still want to be able to do something. So it's okay to ask questions. It's okay to explore, but when it becomes excessive and we're not taking action, this is going to be one of the big issues that you have. As opposed to, say, an ENFP who has that P in their code, but they're dreamers, right? They have that intuitive sense about them. They're okay with the possibilities, and they'll plan all day long. Taking action isn't necessarily their forte, but ESTPs, eventually, they need to take action. They need to go somewhere.
So what's interesting is their stressors, which on the outside looking in, or they look like opposites almost. Excessive planning, and moving too fast. So for me, right, they want that middle ground.
Yes.
That perfect balance right in the middle.
Yep.
We're not going to plan too much, right? But please don't just jump in if I've not been able to assess.
That's exactly right. Yeah, so I want to be able to take the time to understand what it is that needs to be done. I want to understand what your perspective is, and then I want you to give me the project. Let me launch into it. Let me get my team together. Let's rally around. We'll find a solution, and then we're going to go and we're going to act. We're not going to act so fast that we get in a hurried place, but we're not going to just sit on it. We still want to get things done.
Okay. And so another stressor is listed as ineptitude. Talk to me.
Right. So again, we have this ST quality here. These are sensors and thinkers. They are people of detail, of logic, of action, of information. So when they go to talk to somebody, they want people who know what they're trying to talk about. I'm thinking of the same guy, again, that worked in a factory. And when I would talk to him, one of the things I would constantly be amazed at was how he had such a strong vocabulary within his area of work. And it was easy to feel like, well, I have no idea what I'm talking about compared to this guy. He knows everything about it. And so when you have conversations with ESTPs, they know their area of study, they take pride in the work that they're doing. It can feel like that if you don't know, you can't keep up, and they expect for you to know your facts before you bring a conversation to them.
Okay, so I'm managing this ESTP personality type. Help me do that, Chuck.
Right. So if you're a manager of an ESTP, there's a couple of things that I think are really important for you to remember. Number one is don't walk into a conversation thinking that you have all the answers if you haven't done the research. Okay. Just because you're the authority doesn't mean that you're going to be able to walk out of that conversation telling them what to do.
Okay.
Because you may walk in there feeling naked by the time you leave because you've said, hey, where are we on this? And then they give you a whole litany of information, of research that they've done. And you feel, oh my goodness, that they know too much about it. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Make sure you have a plan. Make sure you have your knowledge. Or be willing to walk in and ask questions and find out really what they know, what they're planning on doing with it.
Okay.
I think the other thing is understand that these are people of knowledge. Do not be dismissive of the work that they're doing. If they've taken time to do research on something, they've done the research. I'm thinking of another situation with another ESTP, and I distinctly remember a conversation where this person had gone in and done a ton of research, thinking that he understood what people wanted. He brings it back, gives them the information. They go, no, that's not really what they wanted. And he was pissed, held it together very well, but very upset because he'd spent so much time working on this project only to find out it wasn't what they really wanted anyway. So know what you want because they're going to do the research and they're going to find out the information needed for it.
So when you manage an ESTP, if you ask them for anything, make sure you want what it is you've asked them for.
They will bring you a lot of information. That's exactly right.
Okay.
Exactly right.
And so, Chuck, I think that's a good place to stop. The developer is very adaptable, energizing, and confident, and therefore they are stressed out by routines and moving too fast as well as excessive planning.
That's right.
Well, thank you so much. We're going to bring this ESTP, the developer, to a close. Thank you, Chuck.
Absolutely. Thank you, Timogi. Thank you for listening to episode 17 of the Personalities in the Workplace podcast. Remember to check out the show notes for stuff to help you with personalities in your workplace. There are these super cool personality cards that we mentioned. Just imagine if everyone in your office had one and you knew what strengths they possess or what stresses them out before you even begin your conversation. You can learn your type by following the link to take your personality assessment in the show notes. Hey, and then invite everyone on your team to take it too. Look in the show notes also for more information on Timogi Jackson and me, Chuck Taylor. We would love to work with you one day. Each episode, we're bringing you practical, tangible, and engaging conversations that will help you gain perspective on the people you work with. Join us for the next episode where we will discuss the lieutenant, the ENTJ personality type. Is there something you want to learn about regarding personalities? Just send an email to chuck@personalitiesintheworkplace.com. In our next season, I will be interviewing personality types in the workplace. Do you want to be on the show, or do you know someone who would be great for the show? Complete the application in the show notes, and we will follow up with you. Thank you.